ever wondered how to make your Gammill Longarm sew an edge to edge, multiple rows at a time? Like it'll sew all the way to the right and then it'll also sew to the left. I'm going to show you how to do that with repeat pattern because you can't do that in edge to edge. So I've got this cute quilt made by Brenda. I've already set up the design I want to sew as an edge to edge, just to get a feel for the scale of it. That's why I love edge to edge. So let's open a new window. I'm going to use the draw pattern feature because I want to make the border so I know that the design is going to be where I want it to be. Using the head of the machine, I'm just going to click out a simple border. So I've clicked 4 corners, so now the machine knows, what area I want to have quilted. All right, so now we exit our drawing. I'm going to use the design called Contour. It's by Jess Ziegler. And I'm going to click Repeat Pattern. I'm going to say OK, and it's going to plop in the design. Well, I know that this is a 20-inch space here, and this is way too big. That's going to be horrible looking. So I'm going to take the design down to make it smaller to 8 inches. Now I'm going to tell the computer how big the quilt is. And I've got it written down there. It's 58 by 58. 58 by 58. All right, so now we said that we still need to do some work. Let's scoot it together. And I'm doing that here in set spacing. I'm going to shrink my vertical angle using a negative. Let's see what -2 looks like. That's okay. Let's make it smaller. Let's just scoot them. I'm just going to jump ahead and say -3, -4. Okay, that's better. That's better. But you see that it's gotten distorted. That can be fixed. The problem was I didn't have freeze aspect on to begin with. Whatever. So let's say okay, because this is the whole size of the quilt. Now you can pan out and manipulate the design a little bit. I want to stretch it back out the way it was. So I'm going to use my orange handles to kind of stretch it out a little bit. Now I'm going to grab it like that. Okay. So here's our design. But as you can see, it's going all the way out of the quiltable space. That's fine. Make sure your end point snap is on, and I'm going to make a line from the first row to the second row so it'll sew those continuously. So boom, boom. And I bet I have room to do the next 2 rows as well. Exit drawing. Click on the very first design, hit order join. Boom, it will now quilt these rows all together so I don't have to keep advancing the quilt. Now, an even better trick, because see how it's going to quilt when I don't have space? You right click on that yellow highlighted area and click fill inside. And now it's only going to quilt inside the border I made. And that's awesome. So we also need to, as it's quilting, So as it's quilting away, it quilts down all the way to the end, then it stitches down to the next row and it quilts all the way across. When it's done, it'll stop and you'll hit OK, but then guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna move to that next row that it wants to quilt. And we don't want that to happen because we haven't advanced our quilt. So just hit cancel on the head of your machine, so it'll stop. Roll your quilt up and then click roll quilt, right up here on the toolbar, just like you would an edge to edge. You click the last point sewn and you do the same thing again. You've got to combine the two designs and then click fill and it'll look fantastic. That is a great way to make really good use of your time when you have to quilt a bunch of edge to edges. That way, instead of, the machine stopping at the end after every single row, it'll sew the whole quiltable space and it'll save you a lot of time. And I'll have the step-by-step steps down in the comments, okay? If you've got questions, ask them.